Okay, and then they will give the use case. So you need this one. See, the arrow is just for generalization. It's different kind of arrow. The composition, aggregation, stuff like that. Okay, and then you need to know this. For this one is what inheritance or what. Okay, because they will just provide you the UML diagram, and then you need to identify what kind of the principle of that one. And then, for example, here. Okay. So this one, generalization. So you see the arrow is solid line. So this is so this is the concept of the UML. So basically you need to understand. And then sometimes they will ask you to draw the UML also. Okay? Draw the UML. Basically you need to extend now because they have the one block of the UML. And then they will ask you to create another new class and then draw the UML diagram for that class. Okay, but that one mostly covered for interface and abstract. You need to extend to another, and then, if possible, try to draw both. Even though they have already have the one UML. And then they ask you to create another new class and then put the extend and then just redraw again. Okay, redraw again and then put another class. Okay, so that we understand. Don't just draw the UML diagram for the thing that they ask. Okay, because sometimes we also, when I mark your question, it's quite difficult where the relationship is. Okay. So that one is chapter 2. Mostly they cover all the diagram. Okay. So another thing is when you already draw the diagram, you have a diagram, we need to write the source code. Okay? You need to write the source code for that UML diagram. Try to write everything, the thing that is basically like the lab test. Okay? I think if you already done the lab test before, for lab test 1, lab test 2, and then you already know how to write the code to transfer the UML diagram and then generate that code. I think for the finalization is also okay. And then make sure your writing, handwriting, make sure you try to write very quite nicely. Sometimes mostly last semester also difficult for you to read your source code. Because they ask you to write the source code, then you need to write. Make it clear. Okay. And then if possible you write from the top until the end. Okay? The top one is public class. Okay? Until the end, until the curly bracket of the close curly bracket of the public class. Okay? For example, public class is 1 and then extend is 1. And then even or something like that. Until the end. Okay, so that one is another thing. Okay, that's all for UML topic. Okay, so next we go for the linkage. Chapter number 3. This one already away. It's not covered. This one, so, and then we go for the week 4. Okay, so this one, week 4, I think is how you going to write from the UML to the source code. I think this one is the thing that I just told you just now. And then make sure when they give you the UML diagram, and then you need to write the source code in the SN Python paper, like say like this, but it's different, I think. Different class and situation mistakes. Public class, something, and then SN1, and then this the variable. Also, you need to write everything until the end. Okay? And then including the S10 table, and then there's some interface, and then probably abstract. Write all the source code, the class from that. It's similar like the lab test, but lab test there's a very complex one, very a lot. But this one is very simple, quite simple. Okay. Maybe they cover table only. They will give you 3 or 4 table, and then you just write all the source code for them. And then this one also, the main function also, you need to know how to write the main function from that one. This is constructor, I think it's very simple. So basically, you need to understand what's the constructor and then how they work. Okay, this one also you cover set aggregator. Of course, when they give you the create set aggregator. So actually, you need to understand to know how to create set aggregator, and then especially for what? Boolean. Okay, Boolean is a little bit different, right? To generate the set aggregator. This one. This one passing reference, this one doesn't have it. I think you just go through a little bit. I think it's not. We go big part.
Kenapa dia main? Kenapa? Syokir atau boleh. Aku main atau macam tadi.
So far we don't have the version for overwriting or overloading.
Memang aku tidak macam
So it's okay. No need to
lebih sikit.
depend too much on this.
Salah satu faktor lah.
so for this topic, week 5, interface abstract, this one also some of the topic we covered, especially interface. Okay, focus on the interface. There's a question about the interface. Make sure you need to know how the interface is look like in the Venn diagram, and then how to write the code, and also how to create the interface UML. Okay, this one you have to remember. And then from this, you have how to transfer to the source code. You have to understand, need to remember. Same like this, but different use case.
No, I have a question. This question is getting what?
See, this one you need to take note. Page 23. Okay, so you need to know how to write the UML diagram for the interface. Especially how to draw the arrow. Because this one they have question for this. Okay, so that's it. And then we have okay, so this one API package. This one also you need to go through again. It's also covered the exam. Okay, so this one is a little bit theoretical topic for the Java API. You have to memorize the data, go through, read, and then try to understand, because there's some topic about the theory for the Java API. Okay, so and also the Java package. Okay, so there's also a question about the Java package. Theory one. So please go through. Try to understand as well what's the Java application and also API. So I think that's it. How to write the source code for the package, and also this one I think we don't have the question for this. The source code for the package. Okay, I think static also no need to read. Python also don't have the question. Okay, so this one also we have the question about the Java array. array, we have a question where you need to basically write some code for the array. Okay, so the thing you need to know how to write the code for the array. Try to memorize this thing and then how to try to practice. Make sure you can run the code in the Eclipse and then you need to write in the final assembly also the source code for this. Okay. This array and also berapa? One dimension. I think if you go through the lecture notes, can answer it. And then set. Okay. So for the topic for set, I think we have the set here. So this one, the passing parameter, passing reference, this one only is not covered. Yeah, the collection. This collection, the thing that you need to pay attention is
Bukan lebih merah.
Ha?
Bukan lebih merah.
set. Okay?
Bukan merah. Harusnya bukan merah.
Topic set.
Apa lagi?
This one also you need to pay attention. And then you need to write, go through, and then try to understand. Because the set they have the different characteristics is a little bit different compared to array. Okay? Because array they have very fixed, but set is not a fixed one. Okay, then you need to try to understand, and then try to also check how to add, remove, and everything. Okay, add data, remove data, and then what you can for multiple value, same value. Okay, and then traverse. This one also they have the question about the traverse. Okay, so this one also you need to try to understand traverse. But there is no coding for the traverse, so you don't need to write memorize the source code how to write the traverse. There's no coding, just try to understand and then okay, so that's it until question 2. Basically, we have 5 questions. Okay, this one until question 2. So for okay, so we go to the GUI topic. Okay, so for this GUI, there's a question about the theory, about the swing, about the SWT. flexibility and swing, you need to basically know what is the characteristic about these two things and what is the differences. Okay? It's just a theoretical part. Okay, for the GUI also we have the source code. You need to know how to create all those components. Okay, they will asking you how to create the component. For example, the basic component. I think you can refer for all those components. The button one, and let's see and then make sure you, I think I told you already before, right? The first thing to create the frame. You go back to this one, how to create the UI. Okay, so you need to create a frame. After that, you need to create a panel. After that, create the component, for example here, JLabel, and then this JLabel you need to add to the panel, and then after that, this panel you need to add to frame. Okay, so basically try to memorize how to create the code for add all these component, panel, and everything. Okay, and then one more thing, they asking you to write the snapshot. Okay, meaning that don't write the whole code, just snapshot of that part. Okay, because they actually already provide you the code, and then at which area in that source code there's a few sections, and then how to write the. So the UI, you need to write the code basically. But this one, follow this lecture how to write the source code. Don't follow the window builder that I teach you during the lab. That window builder actually is not covered in the SF. The UI that covered in the SF, follow this lecture. So basically, this is the list, all the components. This is button, this what check block. Try to memorize all how to create for each of these components. Okay. Okay, that's it for the GUI. For the event handling, okay, so for the event handling, you need to basically understand and memorize. Try to understand also there's a theory part for the event handling. So you need to understand all these event recognition model. Okay? This part is the thing that you need to understand and then to memorize because it's theory. Okay, so this one also, the step you need to cover also. Step. This one no need. Okay, so this one also you need to understand the code for this. Okay. This one, so need to cover it. Okay, so for mouse iteration, this one only. There is no issue for this. Okay, mouse, this all those mouse Okay, so we go for the next topic. Exception. Okay, so for the exception, basically it's we don't have any theory question about the exception. So the exception is mostly about the use case. It's similar like the lab test. Okay, for the exception, it's quite similar like a lab test. Basically, there's no theory part, so you no need to actually remember all this theory, practical part. But it's look like the lab test, and then a little bit different from the lab test, where the exception you need to create UML. But for the lab test, the exception already draw for you and provide to you. But for this one, you need to draw the exception. There's give you a use case, and then please make sure go through, read the use case, all those requirements, and then you need to draw the UML, and also you need to write the source code for the exception from the UML that you just draw. Okay. So it's not a theoretical where you ask what's the flow and everything. Okay. So basically, you need to also to know how to write the source code for the throw exception, and then throw and throw is why. Okay. For example, this one also try and catch. Of course, this one in the main function, and then actually it's quite similar that test. Only the lab test is a bit easy because they draw the UML for the exception for you. But this one for the final exam, they give you just a use case and then the requirement, and then from that use case and requirement, you need to write, draw the UML and also write the code. So basically, all try and cache and then throw and throw should cover it. Okay, so basically, you need to know how to draw the exception for this. this one, and then this one. Okay, I think that's it. That's all about the thing here, the topic that covered in the PANIASM. Any question so far? Okay, but the question for this PANIASM, I think a bit difficult. Because a lot of source code you need to write. There's a lot of UML, and then there's a lot of the use case requirement. Basically, it's not a theory, more practical. So that's why you need to actually understand when you read the legend note here, try to understand. Because in the final exam, they will give you a different scenario, different use case, and then they provide you the requirement and everything. Please read the requirement, go through because even those small things, I think you easy to lose the thing. Okay? And then make sure when you write the answer for your question, please follow the order. Okay, I don't want you write the question maybe question 1 and then suddenly you go to the question 3 and then go back to the question 2. Okay, please follow the order. Question 1 and then next page for question 2. If the question 2 you cannot answer, leave it blank, put the numbers. Maybe later on you can go back to the question 2 and then leave it blank so that I also can know that you didn't answer for the question 2. Okay, so easy for me to just clarify everything with you, so you didn't get the marks. Okay, and then follow the order. Make sure, for example, the most important thing is the sub question, because for the question 1. Maybe they have the 1A, they have another sub-question. Maybe 1A Roman, 1A second Roman. Okay? That one also you need to really, try to make it very clear for me so that I will not mess out with another sub-question. Okay? So make sure give a little bit space between the sub-question number 1 and then sub-question number 2. Sub-question answer number 1 and sub-question number 2. Okay, give some space so that I can differentiate that answer. Okay? Because sometimes last semester that when I doing the marks, and then suddenly I realized that the answer that I'm marking is actually for the question number 3, sub-question number 3. But I mark for the question number 1. Okay? Because it's not very clear for me. So please, if you do not know, just leave some space. If you don't proceed to maybe, for example, okay, if you wrong. Okay, maybe there's a question number 1, maybe something then they ask me again number 8, and then they have this one again, number 1, maybe number 2, number 3. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, so your answer booklet, basically you need also follow. Okay, 1A, number 1. Okay, what is your answer? And then 1A, number 2. Okay, what is your answer? Okay, and then 1A, number 3. What is your answer? Okay, so if let's say if you cannot answer 1A, number 2, 2 wrong by here, just write and then leave it blank. Okay, so then I know that you didn't answer. You don't have any answer for this one, number 8. Because sometimes when I marking, if the student didn't leave this space, okay, I thought this is answer for number 2. Okay, that's how it's easy for me to wrongly answer your this one. I thought this one is number 2 because I didn't realize that it's actually for question number 3 because he doesn't put anything. Okay, just put the number question and then you can answer just leave it blank. But my wish, just write anything. Okay, if you didn't know how the answer for that question, just write whatever that the thing. Because okay, last semester the question actually is quite very simple, straightforward. If the user also copy over the question, I will at least give 1 mark because the answer is actually in the question already. Okay, but the student just leave it blank, and then I cannot even give any marks. Sometimes the question actually is the answer. Okay, so don't leave any blank space, even though you don't know. And then make sure you need to check the marks for that question. Okay, for example, this is 4 marks. Okay, 4 marks mean that try to give a 4 point. Okay, that is 4 point. If 2 marks, give 2 points. Because last semester when I checked the student, this one question 4 marks, but only 1 sentence they write. And then I just give it 1 mark. And then maybe he put 1 sentence quite long. I think that one can get a number of 3 marks. I also don't know. I just give you 1 mark. Try to make a point. Okay? So that I know this is point number 1 I can give a 1 mark. Point number 2 I can give a 2nd mark. And then point number 3 I can give a 3 marks. Okay? Back bullet. Don't write everything is 1 sentence.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the thing. Don't write everything in 1 sentence.
Oh, mock test.
That was susah. For marks friendly. Okay, and then what else? Okay, this is very important now. Try to check the marks given here. If 2 marks, provide 2 point or 3, as many as you can. Okay, because sometimes if you write the 2 marks, but only this point I can give a mark. Another point I cannot give because it's not there. Just try to think something out of the box also, because some question is not about theory, it's about practicality, the practical question, and then you can actually write based on your experience and everything. Okay? It's not theory. If you didn't memorize the answer from the lecture note also, it's okay. Just try whatever that you understand. Okay? And then, actually this one is quite important. If 4 marks, at least 4 points. If you provide 5 or 6, also quite good. Because some 4 points is not totally, I can give a 4 marks. Okay? Maybe you try to provide more than that. Okay, if you do not know, also just write the point also can. So that at least I can see that you try to write some point there. Okay? And then what else? Actually, I'm quite worried about the source code already. Try to write very clearly about the source code, okay? As clear as possible. Even though the semicolon, okay? The semicolon here at the end of this one also quite important, okay? Try right. And then the curly bracket every 8. Because I see here many questions, they need to write, asking you to write the full code from the start of the class until the end of the class. Okay? But there's one question, okay. The one question, you need to just write the snapshot. Okay, if they ask you the snapshot, it means only that portion only. Don't write the whole thing. Okay? Based on the question, okay? And then what else? Okay, so if they ask you a question about the differences, okay, there's some question they ask you about the differences. Try to create a table. Write a table, and then this one. This is, for example, item 1. Then item 2. Okay, and then is the difference. Okay, maybe difference number 1, difference number 2. Okay, write that. Don't write the sentence. Okay, if the question about asking you about the differences, draw a table. Don't write the sentence. It's quite for me to read for the sentence. Okay, so what else? So if I think there's a 2 question about, they ask you to extend the UML. So if they ask you to extend the UML, so you need to draw. Okay, if they ask you to extend the UML, and then in the question they provide you maybe 1, 2 table of the UML. And then when you answer, give the answer, try to redraw again. Because it's very small UML, redraw again. Number 2, and then how to extend. This is your answer. Okay? Because I want to see the relationship for this one, this table. You connect which table. Okay, because if you just leave it like this one there's no connection to one table, so I don't know. So I cannot give you the marks. Because your answer, they ask you to create this table, but you also need to write the relationship between the existing table. Okay, so this one, to draw the well, actually there's quite few questions about that. To draw the UML, so please take note on this. Okay, so the next is when you have the question, for example, question 1, number 2, number 3, right? Okay, so if possible, okay, this is question number 1, and then number 2, make sure this number 2 don't write in the same bullet sheet. Okay, this question number 2, the answer you just write into the new page. Okay, don't continue. This is one page, for example, this is your booklet answer, and then this is one page. I don't want you continue at the bottom here. Go to the next page and then write number 2. So if possible, you can don't try to continue, because this number 2 sometimes I will miss. I didn't check at the bottom. Okay, because for my style to mark your paper, I will mark it. For example, okay, today I will mark question number 1. So all the bullet sheet, I will open the question number 1. Okay, so maybe next day I will mark the question number 2. So I will open all the booklet sheet for question number 2. So if you write at the bottom, I thought this one is the question number 1, so I will miss this one. So because I will open another bullet sheet for question number 2, and then I will find out and then answer or give a mark for the question number 2. Okay? So don't continue from this question number 1. I don't want you to continue this. Right back, right to the new page of your bullet sheet. Okay? Okay, so the next is okay, this one is okay. If you leave it empty, a lot of time also possible, because if you not enough the booklet sheet, you can ask. Okay, even though you can ask 3 or 4 booklet sheet also possible. Okay, so make sure try to very smart to actually give some space for the answer. Okay, so if you do not know, for example, like I think I just told you, you don't know, just write the numbers and then leave it empty. Okay, so that I can know this. I think this one is the same thing I just told you just now. Okay, I think that's it. You have any question? Try to answer, okay? Even though you do not know, you just salin balik copy. Source code from the question also can. Then once if you really do not know, tak apa je source code. Okay? Salin balik source code daripada soalan. At least I do so, I effort. I just busu-busu I give from 1 marks. Okay, because some question they give you 12 marks to write the source code.
一定要像素好看。
So let me check.
Besar panjang.
Apa bagian?
Paling depan, belakang gue.
yang macam left test.
Okay. Jom.
Dia bagi pasal left test.
Apa yang
Square
kalau
marks.
cakap kan dia mesti bagi yang
So there's quite a lot basically.
ni kita faham kan.
So just write back the source code from the question. If you don't know, really don't know. Okay. For example, they asking you to extend the UML. If you don't know how to extend, just salin balik UML daripada question. Okay. At least you try. So kita ni,
Contohnya extend yang kita tu pasti extend tu pun ada special.
so I think. So forget. Okay, so for the exception link, try to, I think, recall back how to do for the lab test. Okay, so the part that I worry actually the UI. You need to write the source code for the UI. That one is a little bit difficult, but you try.
Masuk sekejap.
Apa? Graphical interface lah. Graphical you tahu apa interface? Graphical user interface.
Because I think it's very quite difficult because I'm the one who
Fungsi sikit.
write the
Fungsi sikit dia punya tangki.
So I'm not sure the
Lapang.
process of the Okay, I think that's all. If you have no more question, I think we can end. Sorry, for the attendance, who still not here? Scan the attendance here.